Hey everyone, and welcome to another devlog. The first video of this channel is now 1 year old. Time really flies by. The video was recorded in this little area, which wasn't even a real level. Since then, a lot has happened. The game has a playable level now, there's a hub area, many new mechanics were introduced into the game like parrying, blocking, strafing, quests and so on. I made a whole bunch of new assets for the game, the second enemy, and of course I updated the engine and the plugin. So thank you all for sticking with me over the last year and for watching the videos. You guys are absolutely awesome. And yeah, let's now look at what is new since the last devlog. After the playtest at Indie Treff, I fixed some bugs and it was very clear that I have to change the way strafing works when you are locked onto an enemy. So I did that. If you are locking onto an enemy now, the main character will strafe around that enemy and you will always face into the direction of that enemy. You will only look into the direction of the enemy if you are walking. If you start running while you are locked onto an enemy, your character will face into the running direction. You will still attack in the direction of the camera though. This change made it way better to block with shields and was a really needed addition to the movement. To make this work, I added some new animations for the strafing, so that there are animations for walking sideways and backwards. This can get a bit tricky sometimes because I need to blend the upper body animations, which vary for every weapon type, with the lower body animations, so that the upper body holds the different weapon types in the right way. But as you can see, it works for the different weapon types. I also did some more design on the inventory. Now it begins to fit the overall style of the game. For that I made some new buttons on the top of the inventory with different states: normal, hovered and clicked. I also needed to change the widgets of the attributes and quests a bit so that everything fits. It's still not perfect, but it begins to look like the inventory I want to have, which is quite nice. Another thing that I added was controller support for the menus. As you can see, it works. At the moment it is implemented in the way that you are moving your cursor with one of the thumbsticks. This sounds a bit weird, but it kind of works quite well, I think. I first saw that in Diablo 2 Resurrected. They also did it like this and it feels really good. I think it feels that way because of the jigsaw menu. Dragging things around is quite a fun feeling. But as always, this needs to be tested in the end so I can see if people are okay with that implementation. Implementing this was a bit of a struggle. I had to implement the controller support in a way so that it will use the actions that were there from the Action RPG multiplayer starter template that I'm using to ensure that everything is working. At the moment it's kind of bare bones, but it works. I still need to tweak it a bit so that the movement of the cursor is a bit smoother and really feels good. I also still have to implement dragging around items with the controller. At the moment you just can click to use or equip the selected item. At some point while streaming over on Twitch, chat pointed out that I should have a look at the ultra dynamic sky plugin. I looked at it and I absolutely love it. So I implemented the plugin and tweaked some of the settings to better fit in with Calamity. This means there are different weather effects and a new dynamic day and night cycle now, which is pretty nice. The weather effects are absolutely gorgeous and I can't get enough of the stormy weather, to be honest. There are even sandstorms and snow. The character will also leave tracks behind in the snow. I also love the sound of stepping onto fresh snow. The snow does not affect the 3D meshes yet, like the cliffs and so on. I still need to implement that. The next steps with this system would be to tweak more of the settings and make some more weather states. For example, at the moment the lighting intensity of the nights is not really set yet, and also the whole lighting is still a bit off. One thing in particular that I don't like at the moment is how the lighting is when there is no cloud coverage. I think everything is a bit too bright. I also want to do something more with the clouds, because I want them to stick out a bit more and have their own style. So there are still a lot of settings to tweak to get it right. I also need to change a bit of the fog particles I created for the foggy forest, because they don't really react to light and can get quite bright because of that, like they are kind of glowing in the night. But implementing the Ultra Dynamic Sky plugin pushed the visuals of the game to another level, I think. Now it is just figuring out the best lighting settings and creating the mood that I want to have. So yeah, I can highly recommend checking that plugin out if you want to have weather effects and so on. Link will be in the description. Another thing that I have done over the past month was setting down many cliffs. So the playable area now has cliff meshes instead of just hilly terrain from the landscape. I really think that the cliffs add a lot to the game. It's such a simple thing which has such a huge impact. I placed all of them by hand because I have not found a good solution for automating this process. I also tried PCG, but the outcome also wasn't that good and I wasn't satisfied with how it looked at the end. If somebody knows a good solution for automatically setting cliffs, feel free to let me know. I think the level is really starting to come together now, and yeah, little details like this really add so much to the atmosphere. There were also very funny moments on stream while just setting down cliffs for the whole duration of the stream. On stream we now call the practice of setting down cliffs cliffing, which turned out to be a real word which kind of is pretty accurate. And also after many cliffing streams, the Twitch chat bestowed the title of Cliff Lord upon me. Hail to the one true Cliff Lord. Yes, I've done it. I'm now officially a Cliff Lord. We also had fun with some memes. The final version. The final version. So next up, let me give you a quick update on the funding situation. I finished the pitch deck and all the other documents that were needed for the funding and sent in the application. The pitch deck is 12 pages long, and then there is also a project description with 10 pages, which kind of describes the project in a bit more detail. All of this took quite a while and was really exhausting, but yeah, it's done. And now I wait. The first feedback will come at the end of this month, and then I know if I made it to the second round. And then in the mid of May, the second round will start, which consists of live pitching your game to the awarding committee. So yeah, this is pretty exciting, and I'll update all of you on that in the next devlog. That's it for this devlog, and a huge shout out to all the Patreon supporters. A special shout out to the top tier supporters, which are Clean and Sastavas. And yeah, thank you all for watching again. You guys are totally awesome. And I will see you in the next devlog.